Hello class, my name is Amy Ryan and this is my lesson 12 discussion. The two prompts that I chose was number 3, when would a company choose a matrix structure? What are the problems associated with managing this type of structure and how might these problems be mitigated? I also chose number 4, what kind of structure, controls, incentives, and culture would you be likely to find in a small manufacturing company based in a stable environment and a high-tech company based in a rapidly changing environment and a Big Four accounting firm. So to start off with number 3, first let's talk about what a matrix structure is. So a matrix organization is a work structure where team members report to multiple leaders. I know what that's like. I worked for a huge organization and I had so many different people to report to, and it kind of got confusing at times, but it's an organizational structure where managers try to achieve tight coordination between functions, particularly R&D, production, and marketing. So when would a company choose a matrix structure? They would choose a matrix structure when there is a need of high-level communication and coordination. This structure enables people from different departments to easily communicate and work together to solve problems in a more efficient manner. This structure is also applied when different departments work very closely and must share key available resources. The structure brings employees and line managers from other departments close, and it therefore becomes very easy to relate and share key resources. What are the problems associated with managing this type of structure? So unless this structure is managed very carefully, it may not work very well. The matrix can be clumsy and bureaucratic. It can require so many different meetings that it is difficult to get any work done. The dual hierarchy structure can lead to conflict and perpetual power struggles between the different sides of the hierarchy. Additionally, this structure can prove difficult to ascertain accountability, and when all critical decisions are the product of negotiations between different hierarchies, one side can always blame the other when things go wrong. I worked for an organization where there was a front office manager, who was me, and then there was the clinical manager who controlled the back where the nurses, and I controlled the front office. So there were 2 managers in the office. And sometimes it was very difficult to work with another manager in the office. And sometimes I felt like there should be one manager in the office. So we had a front office manager, a clinical manager, and a lead physician. So we actually had 3 leaders in the office. So the employees had 3 different people to go to. And sometimes it was very difficult. It was very difficult for me to control my staff and to trust them. And it was very difficult for the managers to sometimes get along. And we had meetings all the time and we tried different things. And I think that the company now, several years later, I don't work there anymore, but several years later, they now have one manager that controls the whole office. So obviously it wasn't working. And that's what I was feeling when I was there. Other problems associated with managing this type of structure: it's difficult to closely monitor and assess individual performance of workers, which is very true. This is because workers report to more than one supervisor, like my example. The structure can easily lead to power struggles and disagreements, front office, back office. Being in a situation where the same employee reports to several managers on equal scales may lead to power struggles, which I said. Each manager from different departments will want to have a final say on employees, and this can clash with other managers. That happened. I wanted to let someone go. She didn't want to let someone go. We had to go through human resources. It's a lot. How might these problems be mitigated? Responsibilities should be outlined in the project charter or agreed upon by the relevant management team to prevent confusion, conflicts, and loss of clarity. It is important to thoroughly evaluate team members before assigning them to a project to make sure that they can handle that workload and to choose the best matrix style for the team and the company's capabilities. Various matrix styles should be investigated. All right, so the next prompt that I chose was number 4. What kind of structure, controls, incentives, and culture would you be likely to find in a small manufacturing company based in a stable environment? So, a small manufacturing company is more likely to utilize a functional structure since it is easy and makes it feasible to specialize in a variety of functions. Given the size of the company, there is not a significant requirement for a high level of coordination. So, as a result, the functional structure would be the organizational configuration that would be the most suited. Personal supervision is arguably the most effective form of control since upper management is able to have direct connection with each worker. As a result, this kind of supervision is also the most likely to be used. There is a good chance that the culture of the firm will have a tendency to put a premium on relationships that are friendly and laid back between workers and management. The incentives, I think the incentives for all three of these are the incentives based on their personal performance. We had an employee appreciation budget, and every month we had to spend this employee appreciation budget on the staff to make them feel good, and that's an incentive. But if they weren't performing well, it changed their incentives. So their incentives, which will help them boost their morale and do better in their work, have better quality work, and have an improved attitude at work, their incentives should be based on their performance. So I think the incentives for all three of those are the same. So what kind of structure, controls, incentives, and culture would you be likely to find in a high-tech company based in a rapidly changing market? A geographical structure is something that a retail chain should almost likely use in their business. This allows the shops to tailor their product offerings to appeal to the interests of local clients. For example, by selling ice skates in the northern region and beach suits in the southern region, the control that is most likely going to be applied is output control, with the major focus being placed on the setting of aspirational goals. The culture would most certainly put a significant focus on obeying the rules, and its mode of communication would most likely be formal and bureaucratic. It is expected that a high-tech company would use a product team structure, since this style of organization provides flexibility, innovation, and the sharing of information while yet maintaining functional specialization. It is expected that the major control methods will consist of direct supervision as well as feedback from the other members of the group. It is probable that the culture of the organization will cultivate an atmosphere that is beneficial to create problem solving and an entrepreneurial attitude. The next one is a Big Four accounting firm. It is common practice to anticipate that one of the Big Four accounting firms would adopt a matrix structure in which new temporary audit teams will be assembled based on the needs of the business. Within each team, there would be individuals who were in charge of both the functional aspects and the overall project. It is likely that some kind of bureaucratic control will be implemented with an emphasis placed on adhering to the regulations. There is a good chance that the culture of the organization will tend to cultivate professional behavior, relationships that are impersonal, collaborative effort, and hard work. Thank you very much for watching my video, and good luck to everyone this week.